Welcome to podcast Voices from GSPP, Research and Practice. My name is Aizhan Arshabayeva. I'm a doctoral student at GSPP, Nazarbayev University, and this podcast is supported by Data Lab. So welcome to podcast. Please, could you briefly introduce yourself about your current role, the sector, and what you do day to day?
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's an honor to be here. My name is Mikhail Assafov. I am currently representing Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. I'm a national project officer with a political military dimension and currently implementing an extra budgetary project that aims to develop effective policies to counter cybercrimes in Kazakhstan. And day-by-day activities is the implementation of the project itself. So we communicate with our stakeholders, we organize various forums, we implement planned activities, and I'll go into details later.
Hello, everyone. I'm also very grateful for the invitation, and I have very warm feelings about GSPP, so I'm very happy to be here. My name is Anar Makatova. I'm a PhD graduate from GSPP. I'm graduated in 2022. I'm currently working at Karaganda National Research University, named after Buketov, which is located in Karaganda city. There I am assistant professor of political science and sociology and dean of the faculty of philosophy and psychology. Day to day I have many roles. I'm juggling my responsibilities. I'm a dean, so I'm responsible for about 900 students at our faculty. I am a professor, I'm teaching dean. I teach both undergraduates and graduates. And I'm also a researcher. We are implementing research projects.
Great. So nice to meet you all. Hi, everyone. My name is Ainur. I have graduated in 2025, so I received my diploma, but I'm an MPA 2023. So I entered the GSPP in 2023. Currently, I work in the Ministry of AI and Digital Development. My role there is I'm an advisor to the Deputy Prime Minister, and my domain is actually international business and international PR. This is the first time I actually worked in the government service because previously I was working in business, the local one, regional, and the international one as well. So my day-to-day things, usually they are about communication with our international partners, within them some big tech companies like Google, Microsoft, like everyone knows about them. But since AI is an emerging field, like data companies and different AI companies in the world, I also work from them. My work is actually helping them to come here in Kazakhstan, also look up what type of their technologies could be beneficial for us. And more on the operational level, then my work is actually to translate all of that high level things we're talking about to the operational things, so that actually our governmental people, they would understand what exactly we should do with this.
So you have completed MPA program.
Yes, exactly.
Master for
Public Administration.
Yeah.
But I didn't plan actually to apply to Master of Public Administration. So it was like 8 years after I have graduated from, again, Nazarbayev University. I have finished their political science and international relations degree, and I had minor in business and organizational communications. So it was already like 8 years after I have graduated. I was thinking like it's already like a high time to get that your master's degree, right? And I was thinking about MBA, Master of Business Administration, right? But it actually required us like to get out of your job and like be like fully on your studies, right? That was definitely not something I could afford, because after you have already like work, you are financially independent, it's very hard like to switch them back again to your like student life. So I thought about Master of Public Policy, and I applied to that. But then, like during the interview, somehow it happened that professor started to persuading me that you should be applying for public administration. I didn't understand like why. I was not sure about that, but only like after I was in the program, I finished that, I found out like why they were persuading me.
Okay. Let's hear from you what graduate school of public policy program you finished.
It was PhD. It was 4 years, and before that, between my master studies and my PhD studies, I spent 12 years working, basically as a consultant in a consulting company for the government. National Analytical Center, it was called. So we worked a lot with government agencies, ministries, performing projects, short-term consulting, strategic planning, speech writing sometimes, functional analysis for the ministries. So this kind of work. I also have a bit of experience in journalism and in NGO. I started actually at NGO. So it was as well for me the high time to switch. I felt like it was a high time to switch back to academic track, and I really wanted to do it. So it was a great opportunity, great pleasure.
Mikhail, could you talk about your program?
It's MPA as well, Master in Public Administration, and I also had quite a long break in between my degrees, 10 years. And that was the point of my career when I felt like I want to go deeper into the state, into the public governance, into the public administration. And I really had some identified career paths at that time. So I thought that public administration is the degree to go, and I applied in 2020, graduated in 2022, and I think it was my best experience ever.
Oh, nice.
In academia, in general, how the whole educational process shapes you, because really my experience at GSPP was tremendous in a way that I was able to really see how I can go from theory into practice. How can I apply something that I learned in the real life? And I really think GSPP provides this opportunity to really test your ideas, test your hypotheses, and then go into real life after graduation and apply them for the benefit of the public, for the benefit of the state. And that's what I did.
So basically, you both stayed on your job, like, right, during your studies.
Well, it actually happened that when I was entering GSPP, I was not working where I'm right now. Yeah. So that is maybe like the next question that we were going to get to discuss.
The next question about GSPP value.
It's actually very great that it's naturally going, right? Because before starting GSPP, I was working in business. I was in international business, and it was in fact about Web3, blockchain, and crypto. I was working at Binance as a regional PR manager. So especially when you are talking about this disruptive technologies like crypto or blockchain, those things they require like to be very cautious, especially about legislation. And every time we were entering new market, first thing we should have been talking to the government, right? And since I was in PR, for me it was like very important to draft like the speeches of our heads in a way that it wouldn't hinder like the local legislation. So that was the reason I actually entered GSPP, an MPA program. But during the program, something like started to happen. I started to receive like calls, invitations, and in the mid of our program, it happened that I actually landed into this job. So it was hard, to be honest, because we were already like partially working, partially studying, right? And when you were shifting to the new job, on the one hand, it seems like very natural, right? Since you are transitioning from business to the governmental service. But on the other hand, like when I'm looking back, I understand like how hard it was actually for me. And our group, my classmates, were actually the biggest and greatest support to meet during that period.
My next question was about what are 2-3 specific skills that, or maybe it's a way of thinking from GSPP that you use most in your work today, and maybe you can share some concrete examples.
Maybe would you like to start?
So I would like to start based on your answer. So for PhD students, the situation is a little bit different. We are not supposed to work. MPA students can work. We
full-time dedication.
Full-time,
yes.
But the university actually offered us an opportunity to work within the university. First, we worked as research assistants for our professors, and then as teaching assistants. And it was very useful for me, really, because it helped me to prepare for the next step to be a full-time professor after graduation. Because before that, I had only maybe 2 months of experience as a teacher. And it was really scary. It would be very scary without this experience at NU in general.
Mikhail, what about you?
I have quite a few things to share, like specific skills and tools that GSPP provided. But first one is the structured policy problem framing. So this is something I learned to be very effective in terms of when you see an issue, it's always easy to get lost in how to address it. So basically, GSPP provided an opportunity to how approach this whole issue, how to structure the issue, how to frame it, how to develop certain steps in order to address it. So build the so-called architecture. And this is the approach that I've been using in the past 3 years. And it really allows to remove what is unnecessary and get to the tangible result that you're aiming from the very beginning. The second point is, of course, the stakeholder and incentive mapping.
Mm-hmm.
We had been speaking about incentives for almost 2 years, and this is something that I think is the most useful that I learned. People respond to incentives. So you have to integrate this particular point in everything you do. Besides that, you have to know your stakeholders. Like, again, this is my particular example in implementing this project. Before we launched it, we conducted quite a lengthy stakeholder mapping process. And then when we started the implementation of the project, we realized that this was particularly critical step, because if we were to lose any of the stakeholders that we mapped in the very beginning, the efforts would not bring us to the result that we are having today. So stakeholder mapping and identifying those incentives is a very critical tool, and something that I learned in GSPP that helped me a lot.
Very, very interesting. Could you name the project?
Yes, the project's name is Development of Effective Policies to Counter Cybercrimes in Kazakhstan.
Wow.
So the whole project aims not at building capacities of police officers, of prosecutors, of the law enforcement officers to counter cybercrimes, but to develop the framework, which is exactly what we had been learning at GSPP. Create a framework that then can be that then all the stakeholders could look at and use it as a strategy. So we've been able to develop a general strategic approach. The document is called Joint Plan of action to counter cybercrimes for 2025-2026. The document was signed by 13 law enforcement and non-law enforcement agencies. It's being implemented right now. And currently, we are in the process of developing a national cybercrime training framework, another strategic strategic document that aims to create a training architecture, so a common training approach to address cybercrimes in the law enforcement educational institutions.
Yeah, my next question to you would be, what opportunities?
Would you like me to answer?
Sure.
I don't know.
I thought you answered. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
but no,
go
started
on,
with me.
go on, yes.
So,
Go ahead.
well, first of all, I would like to say that sounds really impressive, like guys, because for me it sounded also like a recap of our courses and lectures. I immediately recalled what Dr. Barish and Dr. Howie were teaching. That's especially from the cost-benefit analysis course, right? That's really incredible. So I actually would like to highlight maybe something that I have taken, some skills that I have taken from other courses. The first of all is, of course, the Dr. Aziz's course about the Intro to Public Administration Theory, because since I was coming from business, this understanding about like how the government is working, that there are particular models, especially when you are coming from business and it looks to you like, guys, you just need to apply all of that business strategies and that's it, you know, that in business everything is working well. But then I'm coming in there and I actually found out that there is a history when all of that business strategies were already applied and this was not successful. That was really like an eye-opening for me, and that the knowledge about the models of how the governments are operating, how they should be operating, and definitely how they should not be operating, this is something that I'm still using at my job, because the first thing when you are asking, when you are working with international partners, is like, what is your business model? How are you are working? And then you need to think how you will be applying to our local context. The other thing, you know, we had a course, I believe you guys didn't have, because this is from our new professor, Professor Maurya. He was my advisor also for our thesis project, and he had a course about negotiations. I literally can say you like, it was really hard to understand it on your mental level, because we had there are simulation games when, for example, there is a case and you need to solve it, you have a particular role, but it's part of your information from someone else, and you need to get that information and also resolve your task. That was really, this is actually the real thing when you are operating in the real world, and especially in the government, because
Very practical.
yeah,
Yes.
because there are different layers of information, whether you have access there or you don't have, and then you start to apply this practical knowledge about how to access it according to the law, and then maybe also how to access it using your soft skills. And the last thing I would like to highlight, the skill from the Dr. Lisa's course about public speaking. Usually people always think that this is only about public speaking and how you think, but actually we were analyzing speeches of high-level officials like for instance Trump, and how they were constructing, and why, even though their speeches are not so strong like for example other public officials, but the way how they are delivering that message, making it much more stronger, and that's why they win.
Yes.
May I add something? I already told about teaching and teaching skills, which GSPP helped me a lot with. But I'm also a researcher, and of course, all the courses that we had on research methods, research methodology, quantitative, qualitative, are essential for me now. For example, recently we completed a very large research project for our Ministry of Higher Education and Science, which was on social and psychological effects of digitalization in Kazakhstan.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course during this, it was a 3-year project. And during this project, I had to apply everything, quantitative, qualitative. So thanks to our professors, and yeah, we suffered, but it was a purpose in it.
Yeah.
So yes, next would be about your career trajectories. what opportunities opened up for you after graduation, and that you think would have been harder without GSPP?
I think my example will be particularly interesting because for the whole duration of the program, we've been researching a particular program issue. It's the we looked at the roles of educational institutions of the law enforcement sector in how effective they are in training law enforcement officers to counter cybercrimes. And we were able to work with police, with prosecutors, do interviews, do the questionnaires. Wow. And we were able to see the picture as it was. And we were quite lucky with the help of GSPP to really establish those cooperation channels with those institutions. So we graduated, and then I never left work. I just suggested this idea to my management, and I said that we should explore it. And then it happened that we met with the Minister of Internal Affairs, and we were closing another very important project at that time, community policing. And we suggested to the minister that the issue of cybercrimes is quite high right now. Or was at the moment, and still is, will be in the future.
Exactly, yeah.
This internet fraud, the scam calls. The minister liked the idea. We conducted needs assessment. So we went from one region to another. We spoke with police officers. We spoke with prosecutors. Then we basically framed the issue, developed a project proposal, and got the finances to implement it. And the project, we started the project back in August 2023, and we are about to finish its first phase. So looking back, what we researched in the university, then we basically went further and developed a project that we have been implementing in the past 2 years. The project received financial support from Germany, from Great Britain, from Finland, from Norway. So we were quite happy that international community was interested in supporting this particular project and the issue, because it's nowadays we see that the law enforcement agencies are quite active in addressing the issue. The public sees that there are results of this work, but the rate of cybercrimes, it's skyrocketing. Like we were looking at figures, and some companies, they calculated that the costs of cybercrimes last year amounted to more than $10 trillion USD. And in 2 years, it's going to get even higher. And the trajectory of the costs that are caused by cybercrimes is just, it's dramatically increasing. And the fact that we are now implementing this project, creating the platform for all the law enforcement agencies, for training institutions to react from, is something that I hope will be appreciated.
You're doing a very important job.
Yeah.
Anara, could you share?
Well, for me, my PhD at GSPP changed everything, because I changed my sector of employment, my career trajectory. Actually, I dreamed about working in academia since probably my childhood. Such a strange dream. But people kept offering me practical jobs in public policy, and I gained some experience. But only after PhD, I was able to start a real career at the academy, at the university, as a lecturer, as a professor, and as a dean.
That sounds really impressive, and I would like maybe to start with a note that GSPP looks like a place that makes your dreams come true, because by some accident also the GSPP had made my dream come true, because in 2022 when you were actually guys were studying, right, I was at that moment working at Astana Hub, and at that moment I was thinking like, how can I like shift my career and maybe one day to become an advisor to the minister. And then somehow in 2023, I landed at GSPP. I was working at business. I was not going to government at all because like we have certain prejudice, right, about the government, about public administrators and how are they working. So I definitely was not going to work at the government. I was thinking about that at that moment. And there I had like my colleagues, my classmates who were working at the government, and I completely didn't understand their mindset. It was really hard to me because I was working not only like in business, but it also was international and it was crypto and blockchain. But then like when I started to understand all of that models, again, I don't know how it happens. This is maybe some magic of GSPP. Since I was more interested like about like these governmental models, how should I draft that messages? How should I make them? I received that a call, maybe yes, an invitation to join the ministry and to become an advisor. And like later on, when we were actually writing our thesis, it was December of 2024. I then got a call from the Academy of Public Administration under the president, and they offered me like an opportunity to become a lecturer there. So after my graduation, definitely during the studies, already the shift has happened. But after the graduation, I also became like a lecturer. In the course, I'm teaching the design thinking. Definitely, it has that understanding and knowledge which I got like during the GSPP. Yeah.
Very impressive examples. So my next question would be: could you share what personal habits or strategies help you leverage the degree effectively?
Okay. I believe like right now, if my classmates are listening to that, especially my group mates, they would say like, oh, of course. I'm really organized person. I really like everything to be organized. And if you had like your personal group chats with your classmates with whom you are writing the thesis, I was the one like, our next steps, we're doing this and this. The deadline
reminders.
Yes, exactly. And like requiring the information and also brainstorming and everything. So I believe the first thing is actually organization, right? And I believe this is the thing that helped me also to get I graduated with distinction. So it helped me also as well. The second personal trait, I believe, like not being afraid of brainstorming a little bit like out of the box. Since I was coming from business and crypto, that's why I always like started to try to think like how we can do it in other way. And to be honest, when I joined, most of my classmates, they were from governmental sector or quasi-governmental, like AFC, and none of them were actually open to anything like digital or AI or anything like that. But I was so happy that during the studies, when I got that some projects which I have done on my own, some projects done with them, and all of them were about blockchain or crypto or stable coins even, they actually started to change their minds. And I believe this trait like of not being afraid to challenge yourself, to take up something new that you don't know, and even you don't know whether you will have certain sources, right, and papers about that may be the trait that helped me as well.
For me, of course, during my PhD studies, I practiced the skill of teaching and practicing with others and team building. If our professors are listening, please stop listening for the next 30 seconds because you're not supposed to do that. But during our second year of PhD, we had to revise to pass the exam to become PhD candidates. And
qualifying exam.
and there are like 8 subjects that we had to pass during 4 days. So I wasn't preparing at home, almost zero, but I was explaining all the materials to my classmates at NU, and it actually helped me to prepare, and I passed the qualifying exam like easily, without retaking anything. So this was one of the things, and of course it was very important to work with classmates. I'm really grateful to my classmates for their company, for their support. We even practiced our PhD presentations for the defense so many times that we were actually able to present each other's dissertations, I believe. So, and this helped me a lot. And nowadays I have a very varied team consisting of political scientists, sociologists, psychologists, philosophers, religious studies specialists, social work specialists, social pedagogy, and cultural studies. So we have the faculty, which is this diverse, and I really enjoy it, and I believe we managed to build a very good team, supporting each other and complementing each other.
Great.
In short, what helped me leverage the degree effectively was the mindset that I was going in the program. And why it is important to mention is I think because I had this 10-year gap between my bachelor's and master's degree, I was pretty focused on, or when I started the master's program. And I treated the whole experience not just like an academic experience, not just for the sake of getting the master's degree, although I might lie at this point, but of course the master's degree was the objective from the very beginning. But how I went through the process with this mindset of learning everything and testing it during the process. So not waiting until when you graduate and for some lucky encounter get into a certain institution and then maybe apply something that you learned at GSPP. I was particularly focused on learning specific things, and from the very first semester, that when we were told there's a master thesis, you should think about the topic, you should start researching, I was like, well, I'm lucky that I was able to focus on this particular direction to learn what the cybercrime is, what issues are with it, how to address it. And it really allowed me to get everything from every course that we took. And I mean, maybe not all of them could be related to the issue of cybercrimes, but we're speaking about governance, we're speaking about stakeholders, we're speaking about interagency communication, interaction, we're speaking about mapping stakeholders, business, how business can help in this process. So basically, semester after semester, I was able to, complete this picture consisting of small puzzle pieces. And when I graduated, I went right in the process. So basically, there wasn't any gap. I had data, I had recommendations that we developed, I had the plan, how to proceed. So basically, getting back the mindset, and that will be, I guess, my future advice to future prospects. Get your mindset ready and in place when you apply. But we'll speak about it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's your superpower to
Yeah.
apply immediately.
Definitely.
Would you like to share one GSPP moment that changed the way you think about the policy, the public policy?
Mm,
Maybe some theories that were very new to you.
trying to think about that. Can I shift the question? Yeah, while I'm thinking. Yeah.
Well, for me, it was a bit of a shift of the mindset. When I came, my proposal was to write about strategic planning for the government because I was working on strategic planning for the government during the previous 12 years. I wrote some of the strategic plans for the government, like, for example, Kazakhstan 2020 and others. And actually, my thinking was to a large extent on the macro level. Like, I liked macroeconomics. I liked the big things, like how to shape the country. But thanks to Peter Howie, thanks to Umer Barish and others professors, I started to appreciate microeconomic perspectives about motivation, about how people work at the business level and how they make decisions. And actually, I had a radical change in my thesis topic. I moved from strategic planning to game theory and how corporate responsibility is built and how the companies are working with the communities. So on the micro level, and I kind of changed the perspective on how I look at public policy issues.
My answer to this question might sound funny, but our whole MPA, or 80% of our program, was online.
Oh,
Yeah.
It
Because
was
of
COVID
COVID.
times.
it was COVID, yes.
Oh,
And
poor you.
yeah, I mean, the whole university had to adjust, and we were, listening to all the lectures from home. And at that point, it was all new. I mean, you learn, you answer, you write, you do everything online. And that was a huge shift, not just for me, but for all the people in the world, also for policymakers. I
Yes,
mean,
absolutely.
right now, you don't need to necessarily meet individual in person.
Yeah.
Like, we've done so many meetings, like very critical ones, online. And if you were to ask me 6-7 years ago if something serious can really be done online, through online communication, through online interaction, well, people would, I guess, laugh, because I mean, you have to establish a really, safe channel online in order for the information not to be leaked everywhere. But today we have quite a few instruments that really allow to establish this peer-to-peer secure connection, and you don't have to waste resources. Like, we were able to speak with more than 60 interlocutors within a week's time frame from all the regions in Kazakhstan, and gather the information, gather the feedback, discuss certain things, not going there, not spending, again, resources, not spending time, and really shape the document that was shaped in the end. And this is something, I guess, when COVID happens, or an event like this happens, people adapt. And you really either like you're lost and you don't adapt, or you adapt and use it to the best of your ability to get the most out of it. And I think it was a coincidence, of course, but that when the whole approach towards online dealing with certain policy issues and shaping policies changed. So yeah.
Wow, guys, thank you for actually sharing your experiences, because this made me think. The interesting thing is that since I was coming from business, and in particular, that was actually Binance, we were working 100% remotely. Like everything was done remotely. And I was working remotely. The work was done like just online. We had like lots of calls, but like the structure was very, very like it was very structured. We had rules for everything like that. So for me, actually, it was a reverse when I had to come to the lectures and listen to them. Like every time I was thinking, like, why couldn't that be online or something like that? But
What are all these people working doing here?
yeah, I was just because I was calculating like while I get to the university, study there, and go back. Oh my God, so many times. And due to this, I also had this understanding. You know, in at Binance we had this I don't know how to say it, like not a motto but a strategy that the founder like gave to us, that you should be always doing like only 3% strategy and the rest is actually you are doing. And this is all about business and how the startups are operating, right? But since I was working in PR, and PR is mostly about strategizing, right, about the brand, about how you are messaging, I was thinking like something is not working in there. So when I joined, I was actually doing like all of that policy framing. Maybe we are like paying too much of the attention to that, maybe we should not, and so on. But during the studies, and especially since I was studying with the guys who were working at Majlis, and they were the ones who were drafting all of that laws, and then we had certain processes in our country, and in particular right now we are just about to accept new constitution, right now I definitely understand that actually policy framing and how you are, as Mikhail also mentioned, like you put that framework as if like for the train, like those railways, right? It is very important. So for me, when I was switching from business, it was like pay less attention to the tactics and more to the strategy, how you will approach something.
I actually consider myself very lucky in terms of offline online, because we had 2 years of classes and 2 years to write dissertation, and we just finished our classes and the COVID started. So we had this amazing time, like 2 years in class with our professors. You know, after intensive work, many years of intensive work, it was like such a pleasure from start to finish for me, including, you know, just being on campus, being at the university, drinking coffee with the professors, going to the swimming pool occasionally, quite regularly actually. So it was amazing. For me, I don't know, maybe I'm too old for pure online stuff, but for me it would be impossible to enjoy it as much as if it was online.
Yeah, actually, we also missed that. I mean, as MPA students, you are only coming like for your classes, like classes and back, and that was that was my thoughts actually for the next question. But I really missed, you know, more network, not only like within MPA, like MPA. At least we had classes together. But for example, with MPP, public policy students, or MBA. But I believe we will get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, my next question would be an advice for prospective students. For whom is GSPP a strong fit, in your opinion, and for whom might it be not the best option?
I can definitely say that if you are there for the sake of just receiving a master's degree, well, it's going to be an experience, but it's not going to be an experience to the full of it. As I mentioned before you apply, you have to have a mindset. If you want to make a difference in the future, if you have certain objectives in your professional career, you have to come to GSPP with this mindset. You have to set an objective. You have to set at least a sector, direction, a topic that is of interest to you. And then from every course, from every interaction with your classmates, with your professors, just get all the benefits. That's what the program is there for. It's not to give you just theory, just give you this academic experience. It's like it really prepares you for your after master's degree career, and it's a great opportunity. I mean, I look at myself in 2019 and then in 2022, completely different individuals. It was a great experience and it changes you. And unless you're ready for this change, I mean, choose someplace else, because I hate to say it because people may not understand it the way I would like to deliver it, but the whole process is not apples and bananas and lying at the beach. You have to really work hard there. You have to experience all the, yes, I'll say it, pain of building new neurological, ties in your brain. But I mean, as I said before, it changes you. It changes you drastically. It prepares you to become a higher end, a top professional in whatever you choose. That's why if you want to come here, choose what you want to do, then apply, and then you'll see the difference in a couple of years.
Great
Pain,
advice.
pain and pleasure, I would
Pain and
say.
pleasure.
Yeah, pain and pleasure, definitely.
I don't know, maybe we are masochists, but it was definitely a lot of pleasure for me. I'm actually, I don't know if it's correct to say that, but yeah, well, I'm actually pushing some of my current students at Karaganda University to apply for GSPP. I think these young people are brilliant, and GSPP is such a good fit to open up their potential further. They are gifted in terms of academic studies, and they also active socially, and yeah, so I believe in them, and I think it's a good place for them to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. So I believe your answers will like summarize maybe my thoughts in terms of, I definitely agree that this program is well suited for guys who are looking for those opportunities, especially from the regions. So when I was like graduating from GSPP, and since I already worked at the government at that moment, and I work like together with the guys who are in the government, the senior managers, the managers, they are quite smart guys. Like some of them knows English, but then when I was interviewing some of them, for them definitely like the first barrier is language, right? They are afraid that they won't cope with all of that readings and all of the stuff and so on. So my answer was like, just try, like it's not that hard. We even had, I remember one of our girls, she graduated from like Kazakhstan University. Her English was not like that great as, for example, the ones who studied abroad, but after she graduated, definitely her English became much more better, right? And when she was doing like homework, she also doing like it with us, with the discussions. So I would just say like the guys who are maybe in the middle segment of the governmental service or some quasi-governmental organization, international organizations, who see themselves either like working with the governments or working in the government, for them it's a great opportunity. And maybe I would add some marketing campaigns for them, because like I literally feel that these guys, they would benefit from that. And even I would benefit because I'm working with them, right? I'm the one who are in charge to translate these high-level policies to them so that we can create those business opportunities. But when the guys are just like working in the government, like, it's usually this bureaucracy and letters and everything, they do not see the whole world. They have not seen that beauty that we have seen. And I would really appreciate if they would like challenge themselves and come to these studies. In terms of like for whom this program is not designed, I definitely think if you have graduated from NU, if you have like your great language, if you have already worked in the field, again, challenge yourself and try maybe actually constructing the courses with maybe NU GSPP, or bring some topics for thesis statements, right? Because when you have topics which have like this already like a base for practical implementation, that's really great.
Just to follow up, I think if the language issue is the only one that is stopping a prospective student from applying, I mean, you have to definitely score certain or score at a certain level of knowledge of English. But once you're there, just surrender to the process and your brain will do everything for yourself. Like, you'll be surprised how quickly you learn, how quickly your brain adapts, and how quickly the language changes, how it becomes more professional, bigger, larger. You speak openly, freely. So that's definitely a fear that have to be dropped in the very beginning. And the second thought, and it's very important, when you get there, you meet so many brilliant people. We had some 60 individuals in our MPA group, and some 50, I think, in the MPP, and we interacted with each other for a short time, because most of the interaction took place online. But when we were able to interact in classes, outside of classes, that's a particularly useful and brilliant experience that really gives you the chance to see where people work, what experience they have, because you exchange, you speak, you meet, you interact. Like after we graduated, and not just during the whole process of studying at GSPP, we interacted and learned so much from each other. And this is something that is another completely different layer that I appreciated and a prospective student will appreciate.
Mm-hmm. And not only within GSPP, but also at NU in general. For example, I attended a French club, French-speaking club, Spanish courses. There are a lot of organizations, and the social life at NU is very vivid.
Yes, the community is really big and it's really impressive, and especially also the community of alumni, right, to which we right now belong. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's switch to closing reflections. Could you share, please, what does success means to you now?
Oh my God.
For me, the concept of success probably became more complicated after I graduated, because before, the success for me was my success in terms of my career, my skills, my knowledge, experience. For example, I was very happy when I worked at the OECD in Paris as a staff on loan. It was a great experience for me professionally. But after I graduated, it's also the success of my students, and it's also the success of my colleagues at the faculty. So sometimes I'm so happy for them, more happy than I have ever been for myself. And I'm very proud when they do great things. I don't know. For example, we now have 2 student UNDP ambassadors at our faculty. Amazing people, really. Very active, very brilliant young people.
To me, the notion of success can be put in the following words. You know exactly what you do and the purpose of it. That's halfway. And if you see tangible results of what you know you do with the stated purpose, and you see you make a difference and you achieve tangible results, that's success.
Great. Yes.
Yeah.
Ainura?
Well, mine, I believe, would sound maybe kind of a little bit strange, but really sorry about that. When I was pursuing my degree, I'm like, that hardworking, the achiever, the bar raiser, and that was all about me during my studies. And actually, when we defended our thesis, it was like in November 2024. Immediately, like 3 days after that, I actually get to the ambulance because, it was really like, so the ones who are actually applying to that studies, I definitely agree. You should be conscious about like why are you coming in here, and that's, I believe, that is the beauty of coming into your master's after like having some experience and understanding what is going on right in the market. So I would say like success after the GSPP, I definitely got that, especially since you had that, zoom out perspective about how everything is operating. From that point, the success immediately stopped being like just getting into the program, getting A on that program, getting A on thesis, and so on. So I was like in an ambulance, I was thinking like, I need to get my diploma, like physically get my diploma. But then like you have graduated, you have all of that, and immediately you actually, since you were balancing between your job, your studies, your career, and some have like families and kids. I hadn't, but like my classmates, they had, and for especially for moms, that was like draining because during the classes they were saying like, I'm feeling like a little bit guilty that I'm not like with my baby right now. So this is, I believe, success is actually about balance and understanding like what is your happiness. I mean, understanding that this is like enough for me. And this is also something about like what you are giving back, the value capture and value creation, that you are actually getting in that knowledge. You understand that you are balancing between your family, your career, and studies, and so on. But then you are actually here at your studies. You are here because you want to take that knowledge, right? And then you want to create the value of that knowledge. And of course, that brings us to seeing the results, right, of this value creation. So for me, at least at this point of my life after the graduation, the success is actually balancing between all of that and not feeling maybe guilty or feeling bad that something has not happened as you like imagine, especially when you are drafting policies and they might not end up as you imagine because there are so many other coefficients in that equation, right? So you just need like keeping your pace and keep creating.
Thank you very much for your opinion and for coming today. I think мы уже все.
Можно один момент я добавлю, потому что я прям очень хотела его добавить.
Sure.
That is actually about like when you are at GSPP, right? Yes, and you GSPP. So I believe you have captured actually much more because you have seen the community, right? All of that great facilities.
Lucky,
yes, and that library, of course. But you know what I really miss right now at my when I'm already at my job? When I'm working, I immediately understand, especially in Kazakhstan, like the government seems to be like a cure from all illnesses. Like literally everyone is expecting the government like do everything. And since again I came from business and right now I'm in the government, I understand like it is not actually, there is a framework, right? There is a frame where I as a government do something and this is not like my job. And what I miss that I don't know those GSPP guys, I don't know those MBA guys because I really need that discussion and brainstorming about how to change our models, right? Even investment models, so that to bring some projects to Kazakhstan, which we cannot bring, because the old models, they became obsolete, and we cannot operate on that. So I really miss that I don't know that, guys, and we didn't had like that many opportunity. But definitely, if the one is applying to a new GSPP, you should know that you should like grab that opportunity and communicate with your classmates and even the ones who are on other programs.
Thank you very much.
I would also like to add something. Actually, GSPP is not over for me. I kept strong ties with the school. For example, last year I attended a seminar in Bishkek thanks to the information shared by SDSN Kazakhstan, which is the initiative, part of the international initiative, but in Kazakhstan it's led by Nazarbayev University and GSPP. Also, after graduation, I applied to, and actually successfully applied to, research internship in Poland, and I asked my GSPP professors for recommendation letters, and I'm very grateful to them for providing that. So it's like constant exchange and constant interaction. We stay in touch with the GSPP.
So great.
Mikhail, the last word from you.
It was a great experience. I think anyone who take this program, it's gonna be one of the highlights of life. All the academia, all the academic experience, all the interaction with the faculty, with the staff, with your fellow GSP peers. And this, we never mentioned it throughout the conversation, but this experience of going to Singapore.
Yes, exactly.
That was like an eye-opening. I mean, we saw Singapore in all of those indices we learned, used, and just going there, speaking with public sector employees there, with business there. That was quite, an eye-opening. It's the point where you want to be, or where you want your country to be at some point. But at the same time, we saw how much, and I think in the first place is human resources you have to have in order to be at that level. How professional, how developed, how different they should be. And GSPP and NU in general is the educational institution that gives this level of human resources in Kazakhstan. And the recent achievements of NU of going into those rankings, and I mean from year to year you see how NU is progressing, is something that I hope eventually will take us up and high. And I hope other universities in Kazakhstan will follow and even overcome NU at some point. I mean, for the benefit of the whole state and the people.
Yeah, there is definitely a spillover effect. As I can testify as a representative of regional, or nowadays it's national university, but originally it had a regional status. We invite new professors, we cooperate with them, and they are always very open and very supportive. Yeah, so just recently I invited one of the new professors to be a part of our editorial board for the journal, scientific journal in philosophy, and he readily agreed, and I was very, thank you so much.
That's so great.